Welcome to the Mystical Musings with Friends podcast. Join us in these fun, consciousness-expanding episodes hosted by myself, Kimberly Late, where we discuss the world of the mystical and how this world can enhance your life experience, along with spiritual teachers and leaders from around the world. Join us as we explore subjects including the Ascension and Oneness teachings, Law of Attraction, channeling, spiritual healing, psychic explorations, and various other journeys within the mystical, esoteric, and metaphysical realms. It is a journey behind the veil of our reality, and it's a journey of awakening to the powerful being that you truly are. Hi everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. So today we are joined again by good friend Isabel Zimmerman. Hi Isabel.
Hello.
So today the focus is on all about psychic abilities. So what are psychic abilities? Many of us, have some experience with psychic abilities, but there might be some of you that's watching or listening to this where you might perceive, psychic abilities to be something far removed and something that only certain people can attain. But, it has been labeled as well, and there's been some stigma about what it is to be psychic. But, to be psychic is basically just to be aligned with who you truly are. And if you go really into it, everyone has psychic abilities. It's just that, you may not label it as being psychic. And everyone has these abilities. So yes, there are certain specific psychic abilities. And yes, some people are more fine-tuned into it than others. Like, for instance, me and Isabel, we're channels. But guess what? Everybody can channel. It's just some people might perceive us as unique channels because of, the intensity of us tapping into that stream of consciousness. But everyone has this ability. For instance, when you have inspired thought, guess what that is? That is channeling. When you have a gut feeling about someone, you have a strong feeling, that's another psychic ability, yet you don't maybe label yourself as being psychic. Can't you see? So it's kind of about, let's drop all these labels and just be, because we are very advanced humans and we all have these psychic abilities because we're very advanced humans. Time of great awakening, and all these abilities are being more activated within us. So Isabel, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
So what's your experience with psychic abilities?
Well, I would have to say most humans accept mother's intuitions. Most moms know or sense when their baby is sick. They don't even have to be in the same room. They don't even have to be in the same building, but they will get a message that their baby is sick or their child is sick, or they feel something has happened, right? And, the Star Wars fans out there might say, oh, you felt something in the Force. Well, yes, you are, because we're all energetic, and psychic just means you're connected to your soul, and your soul is a non-physical entity. You are a multidimensional being, and psychic is really working with the energy. So another word for a psychic is a light worker. You work with energy. Energy creates matter. The famous equation, E equals MC squared, just means when you work with matter and you release, it can release energy, but energy creates matter. That's what that means. And so for me, being a psychic is energy. It's light. It's not a big deal.
That's right. And I think, the notion of being psychic can have some connotations. Our society has conditioned what is it to be a psychic, and is it an identity and so forth. But, like you said, light workers naturally have these abilities, but there are others, like everyone has these abilities. You know, it's just, they might not be very intense for you. And, you know, so, and these psychic abilities, a lot of people who are supposed to work with them, such as light workers, then they usually do come online naturally during periods of time in your life. Many of you who do identify as being psychic, you know, you probably have certain abilities when you were young as well. But some of you also, you know, have a calling to explore psychic abilities. So then you are maybe, you know, guided to a specific course or to certain teachings. So that is also part of your purpose if you have this calling. But understand that everyone has psychic abilities. What is your intuition? That is you channeling your higher self. You may not want to label yourself as, oh, I'm a channel, but everyone has this ability, you know, and people are empaths and people can really feel the energy of others. You are actually tapping into the energy field of another person, of oneness. That is a psychic ability. How many of you have a gut feeling about things? How many of you have a knowing about something, not knowing where this knowing comes from a logical sense? You know, again, that's a psychic ability. You know, yes, there are some specific abilities where it might not be as common, you know, not everyone has like premonitions of the future and so forth. Yes, that's a kind of a unique ability. But, you know, when you have flashes of your past, right? When you have flashes of your future, you know, you might just think of it as your imagination. When you have flashes of a past experience, you might just associate that as a memory. But you know what that is? You are traveling into another dimension. This is energy. You know, it's only that being fine-tuned where you might call yourself as, you know, someone who sees the future, for instance. But, you know, we are multidimensional beings. There are many different future, you know, possibilities. Like I think you experience this too, Isabel. Like for me, you know, I often receive glimpses of things, but even then I'll have to detach from it because the future isn't written and it can take a different path, you know. So many of you who may have these, you know, psychic abilities that's very tuned, it is also about kind of detaching from it. And it doesn't make up who we are as an identity. We are just that. We are spirit. We are energy. We're all highly advanced. And just because someone might have very highly attuned abilities doesn't mean they're like more powerful than another person. It's just because it aligns to their life purpose and their soul contracts. But you'll find that this is the time of great awakening. So those of you who are light workers, those of you who will have a calling to assist others, and there are many different fields of exploration in this, you will find in the last few years or so, then some abilities would be actually being activated within you, right? But it is also important to work on your vibration while doing this. Right. And some people who naturally have these abilities come online, if you are residing in a dimension of fear, then you will sort of have these abilities transform and they can manifest in a fear-based way. And this is why perhaps you might see or experience certain, you know, visions that might be scary, or you might see different dimensions that are aligned to fear. You might have kind of experience that you might perceive as unwanted, maybe have a negative emotion or negative connotation to it. That is because you are, you know, living in a certain dimension. Even though you have these abilities, they're aligning to that fear frequency. So for those of you who are naturally born psychics, and for those of you who want to develop it, it is about working on your frequency and your vibration. That means, you know, looking at all things as perfect, seeing things from a perspective of love and acceptance and unity consciousness and oneness. So once you can do that, you will actually, and of course, doing the important soul work and the shadow work, raising your frequency, looking at your limiting beliefs. What this does, it raises your frequency, your vibration to such a point that it actually activates your divine blueprint. This is where your psychic abilities come from. And your abilities, and I don't know, because, you know, Isabel does QHHT, you know, the past life regression. So basically with this, she has a lot of experience with what we call past lives and multidimensional lives. But it's basically, if we're supposed to explore an ability in this life, chances are you're experiencing this ability in another life. It might be coming through in a different way because it's coming through you as a human form. So for instance, when you're doing your soul work and going inwards, you might all of a sudden have some interesting ability come online, right? And it's because it's there in your multidimensional experience and you're ready for it because you are vibrationally ready for it. So, your vibration is like a key to your divine blueprint, and it connects you with all your multidimensional lives. So it is here, and also in accordance with divine time. There is a divine time in things. You will have certain abilities come online. So those of you who have an interest in psychic abilities, and some of you may be like, you might be yearning for more abilities. No, there is a divine time in all things. The fact that you are drawn to watching or listening to this episode, the fact that you are interested in this topic means that there is more for you here to explore.
I want to jump in. I just want to share with our audience that I was very reluctant to meditate. I had an experience, I had psychic experiences while I was younger and as a young adult. And I knew ghosts exist, and I sensed that there was different vibrations of things, like you said, depending on where your vibration. And so I just want to relate to you, it's very important to do your vibration work. I would like everyone kind of experiences sex. And when you're in love with someone and you're in that love frequency, sex is amazing. And when you're not in love with that person or you're not connecting with that person, it's a totally different experience. So I want you to kind of don't be afraid about being a psychic, because Houdini, they're charlatans. They're not real. I'm going to tell you that's in advanced physics. The non-physical is just as real as you and I. So whether you believe it or not, I really don't care because I'm in advanced physics. So if you want to learn how to count one by one, whatever. But if you understand there is advanced physics and you understand that the non-physicals are real, the angels, the beings of light, they're very real. They're very loving. And to access them, you have to be in a loving space. And it's just like sex. So get into that frequency of love and you'll have nothing to worry about. And play. That's when you can play with the tarot cards. That's when you can play with the pendulum, because you're in the frequency of love and you're connecting to your own soul and you're connecting to your own guides that love you tremendously. Yes. Can you have bad sex? Yes. Can you have bad psychic stuff? Sure. But that's because it's your vibration.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all it is. Look, you don't have to listen to country music. Or if you love country music, listen to country music. Just change the station. It's not a big deal. So there's nothing to fear. I want to demystify it. Everyone is a psychic. Calm down, people. Calm down.
And and that's the thing as well, is that people hear of maybe unwanted psychic experiences and people shy away from it, and people might think, oh, if I see a ghost, I'm going to freak out, but not everyone has, everyone has this ability within them, but not everyone has this as a life purpose, like for instance, for me, part of my life purpose, what I'm doing now is teaching the ascension teachings. I do channel light beings, but I don't naturally channel people that have transitioned. It's not part of my life purpose, you see? So you can be so-called psychic, but, you only have certain abilities coming through. And yes, there are others that, I feel drawn to certain abilities and want to learn about certain aspects of it. But generally, what is naturally coming up in you, it's something for you to explore. So, you can enhance that, of course, but understand that everything is in relation to your vibration. That includes your soul contracts and your life purpose. And yes, for me, looking back in my life, for instance, of course, I can see how I'm supposed to do this. When I was young, around 16 years old or so, I started to see angels, right? And not just see them, I used to feel them. And it's not to the level that I do now, but I used to lie in bed, see these lights in my room, and I could just feel this you know, this unconditional love. And I remember when I first started experiencing them, I would just, I think it was like for 2 weeks, I'll just lie in my bed and just cry, but crying tears of intense divine love. And I felt like I was not worthy. Like, I'm not worthy. Why is this happening to me? Because I was like, who am I to have this experience? I don't go to church. I'm not religious. Like, I'm not from some spiritual, you know, guru family or something like that. I'm just, you know, everyday person. So I'm like, all right. So part of it is us, you know, knowing that we're worthy of it. You don't have to be a special person to have psychic abilities. And, you know, with me, for instance, looking back, of course, I was supposed to channel angels and do channeling. I had this experience when I was young automatically, but I pushed it aside. And, you know, as a teenager, you know, you go through life. I push a lot of that to the side, you know, and I uncovered I could do energy healing. That was natural. And then I had a calling to then be properly attuned to Reiki, right? And then again, with life, I just put it aside, as a lot of people do. But of course, because it was part of my life purpose, things would happen in my life, such as a big trauma that I went through as well. And that, again, brought me back into that spiritual world. So you can't really avoid it. If you have these abilities, it's not to reject it, it's to embrace it. They're gifts for you. And yes, some gifts you might perceive to be unwanted, but that's because you haven't harnessed it in relation to your vibration. It's about looking at it differently. Your gifts will shift when you shift your vibration. It will reflect one of that of love and unity. And like, for instance, for me, I did have a very fear-based experience some years ago, right? And basically it was the opposite of love, and it was quite terrifying. And it included a lot of visual imagery, and I could feel like an evil presence, and I could this heaviness. But you know what happened to me during this time? It actually empowered me, because within myself, I felt, for this to happen to me, I must be someone very powerful. And I got all this adrenaline in my body, and I was like, yeah, like this warrior. And it kind of empowered me from that experience. So even if you do experience something that might catalyze you, you know it's there for you out of love, to allow you to embrace your gifts. So when that happened, I started to really believe, and this was years after me seeing angels. This was me in like my early 20s, you know, I was 19 or something. 20, yeah. So it's kind of like things happen in our life to bring us back to who we truly are, right? So this allowed me to have confidence that I must be this powerful, I must be worthy. I must be worthy because if this is happening to me, it means I have some power that I haven't recognized the powers. Of course, in my life experience, I started to, you know, uncover more things about myself, learn about law of attraction. It led me to certain things, and then activated my knowing, my remembrance that I'm a channel, right? So everything is one step at a time. So if you have an interest in psychic abilities, if you have your own abilities, start from there. You know, all of you have at least one psychic ability. So I think, what do you think, Isabel? I think that's a really good place to start, because if you already have an ability, this means you're supposed to explore it in this life. You have a choice not to, of course, but if you already have this ability, it means, because you're meant to explore it, it means you can enhance it to such a degree where you can use that to really empower yourself. And by doing that, you can activate other abilities, right? So for instance, if you have this, you know, maybe you have really tapped into clairsentience, you can really feel people's emotions. You can walk into the room and sense something's going on, you know. Start from there, tap into this. You know, some people might have vision, or some people might even have, you know, there's all different sorts of psychic abilities here. Tap into the ones that you already have, and then start from there.
I think that's, so I work with a lot of psychics. They come to me for past life regressions, which I love working with psychics. And I see a variety of psychics. I see their journey, their paths, what they're interested in. Kimberly, that is spot on, because you are always getting inspiration and guidance from your soul. And whatever happens to you, it's for you out of love. So I don't want anyone to hold themselves back. I really would like them to have the courage to embrace their gifts, embrace their abilities, embrace what they're interested in. Take little steps. Your soul loves you. Your soul is guiding you. Our good friend Jenny, she does ancestral cleansing. She was very much so the ability to tap into somebody who just recently departed.
Yes.
And she has this ability not only to go to the one who just recently departed, but their parents and their parents and their parents. And she can go down the ancestral line. Now, I just want to let you know, I don't have that ability, but I'm not interested in it either. I mean, I think it's beautiful, but it's not what interests me. You know, I like to explore different psychic abilities, different, whatever you're interested in, that's going to guide you. And you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to worry about somebody not believing you and all of the doubt, right? I remember when Kimberly was channeling Yeshua, and Yeshua said, you will always have doubt. You will always have fear, but you can believe your knowings. You can believe your channelings. You can believe your abilities, Isabel. You can believe. And I'm like, really? Is it that simple? Just all I have to do is believe? Huh? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is. It really is that simple. Just believe. And it's so funny how we have it in our culture. You know, if you believe in angels, they exist. Well, they exist whether you believe or not, but it's really cool if you do, because then you can connect with them.
That's very true. It is. And, you know, a lot of people as well, like, of course, those of you watching this, you know, listening to this, you do have an interest in it, but there are others who have certain abilities, but perhaps they don't want to label themselves as a psychic, or they're not really into like the spiritual kind of world. So even though they have these abilities, they kind of, you know, put it aside or label it as something else. Maybe you're overly emotional, and then you just think, okay, I'm up. And what happens in those kind of situations, they don't really embrace it. They kind of see it as a kind of like a curse, not a gift, because I haven't harnessed it and don't see what it is, you know. So if you might see people in your life that has these abilities. So it's part of the Great Awakening. Everyone is waking up. So it's just one step at a time. It's about knowing you're worthy, and it's about dropping the labels, you know. I mean, all intents and purposes, yes, we can call ourselves psychics to define what we do. This is our calling. But, you know, even for me, like, I don't even really label myself as psychic, even though I do psychic abilities, I channel, but you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, if we can even drop these labels of psychic or not psychic, we can actually then connect to the knowing that, and connect that everybody has these abilities. So for you to be psychic doesn't mean you're special, right? It just means you're kind of like owning these gifts, you know, in your conscious awareness. So everyone has these abilities. So it's not a scary thing. And yes, of course, I just shared a story that maybe seemed, you know, that does happen, you know, but that's because it's my life purpose. I had to experience this like a fear-based manifestation. That's because of my vibration back then, you know. I was at a fear-based, I was quite in fear at this time, right? So I've changed my vibration. And because of that, I don't actually experience any fear-based manifestation in the psychic world, because I've worked on my vibration. So now all my so-called psychic experiences are all love-based, because it reflects my vibration. It reflects the dimension that I'm residing in, and I'm exploring love dimensions. It's okay. You can explore dimensions of fear, and we always are going to have an aspect of fear within us, duality within us, until we as a collective move to more oneness, remembrance dimensions, right? We are letting go of this. It is a time of great awakening, but to arrive there, that dimension, we are also going to have this doubt. But it's just really important to know that you are worthy of these abilities. You don't have to be, you know, special, but you know what? Everyone is special. Everyone is powerful. It's about just remembering your worth, right? And when you can remember your worth, tap into that, you'll notice that more of your abilities will actually come online, because by doing that, you are actually declaring to the universe that you are ready to know more about you. And it is about letting go of labels, letting go of notions. What's it going to mean if I'm psychic? What's it going to mean if I tap into this ability? Am I going to lie there and not sleep because all these spirits are going to try to contact me? You know what I mean? Like, this is fear. This is you living in the future. Just let go of all of that and learn to live more in the present moment. The gifts will be unlocked within you, through you, when you're ready. That's why working on your vibration is paramount if you want to develop psychic abilities, because this will allow your abilities to come online and reflect dimension of love. And Isabel's dog agrees.
And I just want to say to you,
you can connect to the dog, to your animal folk as well.
those puppies of mine. What I wanted to say, Bijou. Sorry, guys. What I wanted to say is, there is nothing to fear because love is the highest frequency. It is the most powerful frequency. My dogs are really taking the show away. You guys know this, right?
They just want to, time in here because, when you talk about psychic abilities, you see these as psychic abilities, maybe with non-physical, but of course there are psychic abilities and connections, with humans, but also with your animals. And I'm sure all of you that have pets, I'm sure that you have a close connection, right? And you can feel their love. Guess what? That's a psychic ability because you are picking up their energy. That's all psychic abilities are. It just means you're able to tap into energy. Guess what we are? We are energy. Guess what? Your reality is made up of energy. It's just the ability to tap into energy in a unique way, right? So yeah, sometimes you might be a bit unusual, some abilities, and that's okay. Embrace it. For instance, for me, when I activated Sacred Sound Alchemy, light language, a lot of you know what light language is. And for me, I was never really into it before. And for me, it was quite strange. Imagine I was sitting there in meditation, which is very important to develop your psychic abilities, by the way, in case you didn't know that. And I felt guided because I'm very tapped into these messages, to channeling, whether it's your, higher beings in the day, all these higher beings, angels and so forth, they're all aspects of us. In the day, you are channeling yourself. So just trust yourself. So I received a message to make a sound, channel a sound. I'm like, okay. And of course it was very weird. I'm just channeling this sound, right? Like, okay, so I just trusted, and of course it developed, and because of my abilities, I could feel the effects. I could visually see my third eye, what was going on with the energy as well, right? So, in those of you who are not familiar with light language, just Google light language. There are a lot of light language out there that can be quite unusual, right? So it doesn't matter how unusual it might seem, right? Because energy is not to be labeled. Energy is multidimensional. Energy, we like to define energy in human terms, in human concepts, but a lot of these abilities that come forth through us, they may not be of human origin. They might be from your life when you're living on an alien world as an alien, you know what I mean? So of course, some abilities coming through you might seem a bit unusual because they're being brought forth from one of your other lives living in another world, another galaxy, right? So just embrace it all. Embrace it all. And once, you have practiced working on your vibration, you will unlock a remembrance, because guess what? All these abilities are already within you. It's just about activating a divine blueprint so you can let go of the levels of amnesia, and that remembrance of those abilities will come forth in a conscious awareness. Sometimes you might feel like you have these abilities come online all of a sudden. It's not all of a sudden. It's just that they were already there. It's just you've taken off these layers of amnesia, layers of fear, and now it's revealing to you what was already there within you. You know what I mean? So it's just one step at a time. But it's, once you can harness these abilities that we all have, you'll be able to empower your life even more. You know, you don't have to shy away from any abilities. If you have this, you know, maybe you have a fear about certain abilities of yours, or you don't know how to use it, or there's like unwanted effects from it, then it's just you haven't harnessed it yet. You know, you haven't, it's about perceiving these abilities. They're all gifts for you, for your life purpose, right? So it's about changing the perspective, working on your frequency, and all your abilities will transform to ones of love, manifested in a dimension of love. So it's just one step at a time, friends.
I agree. And what Kimberly is saying, what does that mean? Like changing your vibration, right? And what does Isabel mean when she says the frequency of love? It really is a frequency of love. It is way more than like the love of your spouse or your partner or your child or your dog. It's an own frequency. And it's the most powerful frequency. So if you have fear, all you have to do is bring in a feeling of love, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And your fear will evaporate and your abilities will blossom. So when I say go into the frequency of love, meditate, go into your heart center, breathe in the feeling of love, and then play with your abilities. Follow the thread. Be excited. Your soul is waiting for you to play. And that's why Kimberly and I wanted to do this call, was to get you excited, to get you motivated, to get you like, you know what? Everyone is a psychic. I want to be a psychic. I want to play in the frequency of love. I want to see my special ability. Yes. There's so many abilities. There's so many aspects. And let me tell you, I would never, ever want to go back being a muggle, a non-magical folk. It is so much fun being a psychic. It is so much fun. I'm telling you, you got to try it, guys. Push past your fear. Just play. Play, play, play. And that's my dog, Raven, playing.
And on the subject of playing here, our good friend Isabel here, she's actually just released a course actually. So those of you who are inspired to enhance your psychic abilities, then, you know, I recommend checking out this course. And of course, you know, those of you who follow me, you would know that the beings of the light, through all the sessions that you get to watch, there's a lot of psychic abilities obviously that are coming through in that as well, different techniques that you can use. But Isabel, tell the audience a little bit about your course, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are now getting excited about psychic abilities and they want to harness it a little bit more.
Yes,
more direction.
So thank you, Kimberly. Kimberly and I, we were talking earlier on this course, and she is channeling a psychic course too with Isis, and Isis is also my guide. So it's just so funny how Isis is working with the both of us, and how we're creating two very different courses. Like, she wanted my course to be 21 modules, and she wanted Kimberly's course to be 33. And she was very specific with me, like 7s are everywhere in my course. But anyways, I would say my course, you can try an exercise for free to see if it's your format, to see if you like it. I do a video, you download a PDF, we do an exercise every day, because I want you to not think about being a psychic. I want you to play. I want you to do something. I want you to try it. We have to do a little bit. I have to expand your mind. We move energy physically in your body. We move energy mentally. We do psychic exercises. We do soul work. We change your vibration. We raise your vibration. It's very important for me to raise your vibration, because I want you to have a good experience. I want you to feel love. I don't want you to feel yucky. So when you do my course, I want you to have fun, and I want you to play, and I want you to feel love. And so if the outcome is you turning on your psychic ability, well, that's just icing on the cake for me.
Wonderful. Yeah. And that's what it is, isn't it, Isabel? It's about just having fun with it. And, you know, it is just one step at a time. So, and it's not about, okay, you're here, you want to go 100 steps ahead. You might have an interest in all this, but there is a grand unfolding here. There is a divine time and everything. And, you know, and that relates to your vibration. Perhaps you're not at a frequency where you can tap into abilities that are reflecting love dimension. So this is why they haven't maybe been turned online yet within you, because you need to work more on your vibration. So just know that, you know, all these abilities are waiting to be activated. So Isabel has a course. Yes, I've got a course coming out very soon as well. So there are, you know, if you're inspired and guided, yes, these help you, but foundationally, it's all about going inwards, doing your meditation. You know, meditation really helps to raise your frequency, and it really helps to activate your divine blueprint. And it allows, by doing meditation, of course, many of you do meditation, you all know the benefits of meditation, but it really helps for you to become sensitized to energy. And that's what being psychic is. It's about tapping into energy. And it also doesn't mean, okay, I'm going to do meditation, all of a sudden I'm going to be this big psychic and I'm going to walk down the street and see all these spirits come at me and, you know, that kind of thing. Things are going to turn online if it is aligned to your life purpose, right? So you don't have to worry about, certain abilities maybe you don't want, because any abilities that comes online within you by doing your inward work, it means that you are supposed to explore this. Of course, you all have free will. You may choose not to, but what I've found and what a lot of light workers have found, if you have certain abilities and you turn your back on them, life is going to always bring you back to it, right? Because it's your calling. You know, and sometimes this may be manifested in being sick, you know, or going through certain traumas. It's kind of the universe, which is you, catalyzes you in life to brings you back here, to bring you back to your life purpose. So if you've turned your back on your abilities, guess what? You probably have experienced, you know, different things in your life that has catalyzed you, because it's like the universe, it's you going, come on, we need to get you back into your life purpose. So we're going to catalyze you until you go inwards, until you embrace your gifts to heal yourself and heal your life. And yes, psychic abilities, your gifts that you already have, can heal you, can heal, you know, traumas you've gone through. And this is why you are catalyzed often in life. It's to bring you inwards. So you can, you know, find your inner strength and your inner power to heal yourself, to change your frequency. So everything in your world, in your reality, is assisting you to bring you to your life purpose. So you can relax, you know, you don't have to strive for anything. If you have a passion, follow the passion one step at a time. There is no end point to this. You know, me and Isabel, we're still developing too. It's just because, okay, you're psychic now, that's it. No, it's a constant taking off the layers of amnesia. It's a constant, you know, moving through our own fears and limiting beliefs to remember more of our limitless powers. Yes, me and Isabel still have many powers within us that we don't even know yet, because this is a lifelong journey. Things will become activated one step at a time. Right? So it's about enjoying the journey, isn't it, Isabel? You know, it's not about, okay, even you do a course or, you know, your abilities just come online. Okay, that's it, done. No, it's a constant. It's about always tapping into your energy. It is about always stressing your vibration. Whenever you are triggered, ask yourself, what is that about? Look at your limiting beliefs. Usually when you have a negative emotion, it's because you are judging something as wrong or bad. You know, you're seeing from a point of duality. Once you can accept what is happening, that is a lesson for you, for your highest good, that is alerting you to a judgment that you have about yourself or another, you know, you can actually address that, and then you raise your frequency. And, you know, the universe is magical. You know, if you are triggered by something, then they are your mirror. They're reflecting back to you a limiting belief, a program, a dimension within you that is no longer needed for your life experience, right? So everything is a gift. All your abilities you have are a gift. Everything that you experience in your life is a gift. But can't you see this perspective? You know, it might take time to get this perspective, but when you do your inner work, when you can get to that, you know, awareness that everything is happening for you, your abilities will just come online, and all your abilities will reflect love. They will all be there to empower you, right? So you don't need to be catalyzed by your psychic abilities. It's up to you. It's about doing your inner work, focusing on love. And your abilities will reflect that because they reflect that dimensional experience that you are living life in. So it's about focusing on love and joy, but also addressing the fear. It's not about pushing away the fear. Because if you push away fear, what happens? It still stays in your energy field. And it still means you still reside in that dimension and things will still manifest that relates to that fear. So it's actually about facing fear and challenges in your life head on. It's about being brave, being vulnerable, and you can use your abilities that you already have to harness this.
Yes. Even in my course, I get you in tune with your body because your body is a tool and a messenger. I get you in tune with your feelings because subtle energy is delicate. It's a delicate caress. It's not a slap. It's a delicate caress. And to order to tap into that subtle energy, you have to get into a different frequency and vibration. We talk about frequency and vibration, but you can see frequency and vibration with your own eyes if you look up cymatics. Cymatics shows frequency and vibration and how it creates shapes and matters and patterns. You can look up fractals. That's another thing. So you could visually see frequency and vibration. You're always in frequency and vibration. You're just not aware. So all we're doing is we're showing you a new language. So being a psychic is just, I'm just teaching you another language. That's all that is.
It is.
Nothing
And it's the language of energy. It's the language of energy. It's who you are. And I think it helps if you can let go of these labels, because if you put yourself on a certain label, it means that, you know, you have to be at a certain level or you have to have certain experiences that align to this label. So if you can drop the label and just know that you are a highly advanced being that is source manifested. You can take away the labels of the abilities. Yes, for all intents and purposes, I do say I'm a channel because it helps people give a description when they access my services or, you know, uncover these teachings. But yes, but you can let go of these labels and just know it is just you. It is just you aligning to your life purpose. And, you know, there are a lot of, you know, simple exercises you can do to tap into energy. Energy is all around you. Now, of course, accessing, you know, Isabel's course, I recommend that. But, you know, if you, there's so many videos that Beings of Light do where they talk about, you know, psychic exercises. But one comes to mind is the one, if you want to watch the one on Archangel Metatron. And he did a lot of exercises in tapping into energy. So, for instance, even if you just look at your hand, you might see a physical hand. But if you can kind of get engaged with all your senses and then just tune into, you know, the feeling of it. You know, do you feel a magnetic feeling? Do you feel a tingling? You know, it's about focusing your awareness on the different senses. You know, looking at your hand, can you see past the physical form? Maybe it's a bit difficult, but if you can, like, for instance, put your hand a little bit in front of you, or if there is a wall in front of you, if you can relax your eyes, look at the space in between an object, whether it's your hand or a wall. If you can relax your eyes, you can actually see air. Air is not empty space. You often can see like little dots moving. Some of you, you know, might need practice with this, but it's about practicing your awareness and focus, doing little experiments like that. Like even between wherever you're watching this, like on your phone or your computer, put it a little bit in front of you and just, you know, it's good to have kind of a solid background behind you, and you can start to see, even now I'm doing it now, like you can kind of see like the air and the light and the little dots. You know, you can do this with your hand, you can do this, you know. What's really beneficial that helps you a lot is doing these exercises with Gaia, you know, with your animals, with plants and so forth. You can really feel the energy. Like what about when you go for a walk in nature? Usually can feel the energy, right? You're tapping into the energy. If you touch a tree and really use your senses, you can feel the energy there. You know, with your loved ones, you are feeling the love, right? You're tapping into energy. So there's many different ways you can connect, and you can play with it. Like a recent video I did as well with Archangel Raphael. He went through some techniques about self-healing, you know. So yes, we can tap into those psychic abilities to self-heal ourselves. Everyone has this potential. Everyone is able to go within, scan themselves, scan the resistance, right? Everything is energy, and at the foundation of all illnesses or diseases in the body is energy, right? So if you can get to the source, you can help with the self-healing aspects, right? Even with water. I know when I did a session with Lamanja recently, she talked about imprinting water, right? Because water is a carrier of energy. There's so many techniques here. There's so much you can play with. Even when you do your intentions, you are imprinting energy, right? This is why when people say, make an intention when you do meditation, that's why it's so powerful, because when you set an intention for meditation, you are setting a purpose for this meditation, and it actually unfolds in that way. So for instance, like with water, you can imprint water with your intentions. There's a lot of science, isn't there? Isabel's a big science guru. So you would know, like, for instance, Dr. Emoto, he's done a lot of science around this, how you can imprint, basically change the vibration of water, right? So you can do this even if you're drinking water. So there's so many different things you can play here in your reality. So it's just about being open to creativity that is within you. Because when you engage in this creativity, you are declaring that you're ready to know more of who you are, and you are activating the God particle within you. So you're becoming the God creator in action. So just play and have fun.
I want to jump in that. So Isis also communicated with me that, you know, Kimberly and I, we're just one we're a teacher. We're showing a modality. There's many modalities. But what Isis was really telling me was, when you actively pursue your psychic abilities, whether you read a book around it or you watch this video or whatever, Isis was explaining to me that you are engaging, you are allowing your soul to know you are ready for the next step. And then they will lead you to the next step. And that's why Kimberly always says one step at a time. But really, you don't have to, but it's much easier. I'm telling you, do yourself a favor and just do it. Engage, take a step, research, listen to video, try to play, try to open. You don't have to be great at it the first time. You set no expectations. You know, try to see the energy in the air. I had to try it for a while before I was able to see it. And I'm like, oh my God, it really does look like static, you know, or the aura on my hand. I used to put my hand on against a white background. And now I can see auras more easily. Don't worry if you're not good at it right away. Just play. Just play, just play, just play. If you get anything out of this, yes, Isabel Zimmerman wants you to play. That's all. That's the big message. Play in love.
That's it. That's what it all comes down to. It's about embracing more of who you are, right? You are powerful beings of love. You are limitless. Yes, you are. You might see yourself as limited in human form, but that's because we've been conditioned to see ourselves as limited, to see ourselves as not worthy. So once we can believe that we are worthy, that we are limitless because we are energy and energy is limitless, we actually can peel back those layers, that perceived layers of limitation, right? We peel back the layers of amnesia. We let go of that conditioning that tells us we are not worthy and that we are not powerful. So once we can believe in our own power, what Isabel said, what I've been saying is that you are declaring to yourself, to all that is, to source, that you are ready. And because you're ready, guess what? They will give you the next lesson, the next ability, the next step. You have to be ready and you have to declare it. And by declaring you're ready is about stepping into an action step with your inspiration and with your guidance. You know, if you're inspired to do something, that is your inner guides, that is you, that is source, spirit guides, however you want to label it. It is you in higher truth. giving you guidance for your next step. And it doesn't have to be this extraordinary step, right? The first step was you watching or listening to this. That was step one. You know, you might be guided to research something. Okay, that's step two. So it doesn't have to be this advanced step. It could be you, I feel inspired, guided to watch a specific TV show. It might not even seem related, but as you watch it, you'll get another clue, another message in that. Can't you see? If you can kind of let go of the resistance and just allow yourself to be guided. But to be guided, of course, means you need to be in the present moment. And that's something that, you know, your meditation work helps you with. By being in the present moment, you can access, you can tune into the guidance. If you are living in dimensions of the past or the future for the majority of your time, you're unable to really tap into this guidance fully, right? So if you can be in the present moment, you will be able to more clearly receive this guidance. And it takes practice. It's not always easy to live in the present moment. I mean, we're busy, we're human, we got things to do, right? Like, it's understandable. But this is why doing a spiritual practice every day, such as meditation, is very beneficial, because it helps you to rewire your brain and your being to be able to live more in the present moment. And it takes work, but it doesn't have to be unwanted work. It's actually fun. You know, nothing should be like a chore. If you are doing a spiritual exercise and it feels like it's a chore to you, then change it up, do something else, because you're resistant to that for a reason. Don't feel like you have to do something to become more enlightened, for instance. Follow the guidance. Everyone is unique to this. You know, not everyone, for instance, is guided to sit down meditation. Perhaps it is you engaging in a dance, or it's perhaps in you engaging with some creativity, another mindfulness, maybe a drawing or something, and that's your way of meditation, or walking in the park. So it doesn't have to fit a label, it doesn't have to be defined in any way. It's just really listening to yourself, trusting yourself, right? Me and Isabel are here as just guides for you. Yes, there are certain exercises you can follow that assist you on this, but then you might be guided to do other exercises, and that's also perfect. Listen to yourself inwards, right? It's not about listening to hear the ego mind, because this is where all the fears lie. This is where your habitual systems lie that can be based on like fear programming. If you want to live more in the present moment and tap into the real guidance, you need to live more in the heart center. And yes, it means being more vulnerable, and it can be scary. I understand this, but it's like being vulnerable in the heart center, trusting the process, trusting the universe, trusting yourself, knowing that you'll be guided one step at a time, perfectly unfolding who you truly are into your awareness. And how exciting is that? You have the power. All of you do.
Yes, I agree, Kimberly. And hopefully Kimberly and I have inspired you to take your next step. Oh gosh, and can you let us know what you did? I would love to know what your next step was.
Yeah, that's fun. Perhaps while you're watching this, whether it's you know, because obviously this session is released also on YouTube and also on audio podcasts. So perhaps just put in the comments any of your experiences that you have. Yeah, let's have a conversation. Of course, it'll be on social media, my social media, Isabel's social media. But yeah, let's engage in this conversation. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun, you know. It's not supposed to be scary. It's only scary because we have certain notions or perspectives about it. And yes, it can be from past experiences, but know that all past experiences is not who you truly are. It is a dimensional experience. So if you've had experiences that perhaps are like what we call negative or unwanted, it's just because you're exploring that dimension of duality, dimension of fear. And that is also perfect. They're just aspects of reality. You know, fear is duality is an aspect of physical reality, is an illusion. Who we truly are is love, is oneness, right? So if you want to explore more of this, more love, then it's just about living from the heart center, embracing it all. Even if things do come across your life experience, whether it's in your abilities or your life experience that do catalyze you, then it's there for you out of love. It's for you. Right? It's about changing your perspectives on things and just knowing everything is happening for you. And you'll find your life will just transform amazingly. Like, you know, you might seem like, you might have a lot of fears, a lot of things to work through, and it might seem like too big of a task to do is to work on your shadow work. So a lot of people do push it aside. They might want to push it aside and then just want to focus on the metaphysical stuff. But that doesn't work. It might work temporarily for you, but you will find if you don't do this, if you don't address your fears and your limiting beliefs, your traumas, in the present moment, that is. You don't have to delve there, only if it comes up in the present moment, of course. And if you don't do that work, what's going to happen is that you're not going to get the full picture of those metaphysical experiences, or like we discussed here today, you might get a dimensional version of that, which might be reflected as fear in your life or reflected as an unwanted gift. So it's all a reflection of you in your vibration. So don't push anything aside. Any fears you have, address it head on, because even if you repress it, push it away, it still stays in your energy field, even if you're not conscious of it. And if it's not in your present moment, if it doesn't come into your awareness, that's okay. It's not needed for this moment. But if it does come to you, if you have a negative emotion, if you're triggered by something comes up, that needs to be addressed. Always addressed in the present moment. If it comes up to you, it is for you. It's a continuous game of exploration here, doing our soul work and embracing our gifts, right? And it is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be joyous. It's using our creativity. We are source manifested. This is how powerful we are. It's because maybe you don't see yourself as worthy. You're like, who am I to have these abilities? But you are special because you are source manifested. Everyone is advanced. Even those people that you might call as unawakened, guess what? They also have psychic abilities. They might have just chosen not to remember their unique gifts, but everyone has these abilities within you, within all of you. So it's just embracing who you truly are, that you are worthy of being limitless because you are source. So one thing I would like to leave you with is just always work on your worthiness. Knowing that you are worthy, knowing that you are loved, that you have these powers within you, all right? It is just about letting go of these conditionings. Once you can do that, these abilities will naturally unfold, in your life experience. Trust the process. Trust is happening in divine time. I know that we can be impatient. I know this because we're so excited about having an ability that we want them to be manifested straight away in a certain way. I understand that, but there is a divine time for all things, and we cannot actually see the full picture, right? There is a reason why things take time to come into our experience, right? One step at a time, and by acting on the guidance, you'll be able to get there quicker and more effortlessly.
That's right. The non-physical, your soul, reads your vibration. Kimberly and I, we always say this: you cannot trick the universe. You cannot lie to the universe. You can say whatever you want to say. You can say you believe in fairies, but if you don't really believe in fairies, you're not going to see fairies. You can't trick the universe. It's okay. It's okay, whatever you believe. But that's where you limit yourself. And that's what we talk about, that you limit yourself and that you work on your limiting beliefs. Your fear is a mechanism to let you know when you feel yucky or sad or angry or frustrated, that's a limiting belief. Your feelings are your compass, and your feelings are your magic. So if you're very sensitive and you feel a lot, I'm so excited for you because
that's it.
You're powerful. You had no idea. You're like Harry Potter. You had no idea you were a wizard, but you are. So it's all good. I hope you play. Thank you so much for listening to this. I really appreciate it. And really, really try to reach out to us. I want to know what you're doing.
Wonderful. And on that note, where can people find you, Isabel?
You can find me. Just Google or do a search, Attracting Wisdom. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I don't have so much stuff on YouTube yet, but whatever. But Instagram and Facebook. For sure, I have a website, Attracting Wisdom, and I'm sure Kimberly is so good at this stuff. She'll put the link to my course and where you can find me.
Wonderful. And those of you who want more information about me, just jump on my website, beingsofthelight.com. Welcome you to join. Check out my social media communities, also Instagram, but also, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Beings of the Light with Kimberly Community, with a public group. You also have a private group for those of you who want to explore things and in a more private setting. So you're welcome to join that also. That's Ascension Teachings in Focus. Yeah, go play. I've got a YouTube channel. If you're interested, I've got a lot of YouTube videos out there. Check out, especially for psychic abilities. I mean, all the videos have some, assistance in this, but what comes to mind, specific exercises, check out Archangel Metatron that I did. Check out that latest Archangel Raphael video, and that has a lot of self-healing techniques, and the Goddess Lemanja session that talks about imprinting water. I mean, there's a lot of other videos, but they're the ones that come to mind at the moment anyway. Check out Isabel's course. Check it all out, explore and have fun, because you know what? It's supposed to have fun. But check it all out and listen to the inspiration. Listen to your guides, listen to who you truly are to take the next step and enjoy it, embrace it. And, Isabel, that's a really good point, because a lot of people, like you said, have a lot of emotions. They might see it as wrong because society, might deem it as, unwanted. And yes, especially, feelings like sadness or anger and so forth, some people might see it as unwanted, so they feel bad, But it's actually a gift. It's just about harnessing it. It's about how you act on these feelings. You can harness it to empower your life. So that's why it's about exploring more of who you are and connecting so you can harness it. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for joining, Isabel. And thank you everyone who's watching or listening to this. So until next time, love and light. Farewell.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. To find more info about myself and how to reach out to me about this podcast, please see the episode details. Remember, you are never alone on your journey, for you are one with all that is.